So this past weekend I went to the Highland Park Record Sale for the first time up in Highland Park, New Jersey. I had never been before, saw that Damu the Fudge Muck video up there and decided to check it out. But it was their last weekend in that location. But I just thought I'd give a quick run through and do one of these nerdy videos where I show you the records that I picked up. Pretty good deals on everything. A lot of really great selection up there. Definitely a well-curated sale for something out of a guy's garage. Alright, so this one is the Coachman 10 Compositions, No Frontiers in Free Rock. And this is listed as modern classical rock and roll and free jazz, but it's really just a kind of a pretty noisy free jazz type experiment. But I got it because one of the songs on there, number 3, was written for Archie Shepp, and anything even tangentially related to Archie Shepp I tend to buy. So that's a good one. I gave that one a quick listen last night. I picked up this one, Mighty Sparrow, Calypso Maestro. It's real good stuff, real kind of slack Calypso type stuff. Let's see, it has a song on there called Poopsin' Poopsin'. You know, that's about as classy as you get. Picked up some library music. I've been grabbing a lot of the Bruton music stuff off the web recently, off of some of those great library MP3 blogs, and this one's really cool. It's called Past and Present. What they did was they took the first side and did all the music in kind of a traditional style with flute, oboe, horn, harpsichord, guitar, and bass, but then in the second side they did all the songs with synthesizers, keyboard, and rhythm. So kind of neat stuff. Library music. Library music, in case you don't know, is kind of like soundtrack music that wasn't designed for any movie in particular. So got a lot of international music. Here's one of them that was in the clearance bin. This is I'm a sucker for Chinese music. Anything with traditional Chinese music or Japanese music, really dig. So this one's China's Treasure. Really like the artwork on the front there. And yeah, this is pretty interesting stuff. This one I really liked. This is some, as far as I can tell, I haven't listened to it yet, some Filipino pop. But this description on the back is just like, just sounds like some random emo kid's writings here. There comes a time in a man's life when, weighted down by bittersweet memories of the past, he seeks the solace of the dark. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what that one sounds like. I think that one was probably actually produced in the Philippines. So we got this one, Los Angeles Negros. Kind of an interesting name given the makeup of the group from what I can tell here. Don't know anything about them either, but just looked like one of those interesting records, 1972. This one, Are You Chinese or Charlie Chan? This was a dedication to Vincent Chin, who was a Chinese-American recording engineer, and he was beaten to death, according to the back here, by 2 white men in June 1982, mistaken for a Japanese person. So some kind of interesting stuff there, and I think this is kind of a free jazz, early 80s free jazz, avant-garde style. Another interesting looking one musically as well. Of course, rest in peace, Tony D picked up the Poor Righteous Teacher's Holy Intellect and Self-Styled Wisdom 12. From Russia with Jazz. So, can always dig some Russian free jazz style. And this one was actually recorded in New York, though, so I don't think it's actually Russian jazz necessarily, but should be another good one. Disco 4, which for a second I was like, not the Fat Boys, but they were the Disco 3, right? So this one is Just Get Busy and Stomp Stomp Clap, which was, I think this was one of their bigger 12s from around 1986. They had a bunch of E. Cummings ones where he was reading his poetry. So this one is just E. Cummings reads his poetry. A little picture of him on the back. Side 1 has some of his his screenplays, or some plays that he wrote. And then side 2 is some readings of his poetry. And then there were a bunch of, in this E. Cummings 6 non-lectures series, where he gave lectures at a college, I think, and did some readings. But I picked this one based on some of the poems that he included on this record. Some Balinese music. Always love the gamelan. This one is music of the Orient and Hawaii, with music from Japan, China, Korea, and the Philippines. Recorded in Hawaii. This is a folkways recording. I kind of dig the style that the back there, where they didn't really have a back cover, just kind of a fold-over flap. Kind of dig that design. And then the big finds for me were some of these Polish records. Really into the Polish hip hop and jazz, and of course Polish folk music, anything kind of non-polka I get into. And this stuff was all actually released and recorded in Poland. So this one was some Polish folk music. Definitely dig the cover on that one. It does have some English back here, but it's mostly just kind of heady, nonsensical stuff. It doesn't really get into what the music's about. And some more Polish music. I want to say these are all 60s and 70s. They don't all have years listed on them. But and one more Polish record here. Arena Santor. This one I think is early 70s based on what it says on the back here. Phil Woods and his European Rhythm Machine. Just really like the illustration on this cover. A lot of good detail here. And some amusing stuff on the back too, that kind of humorous liner notes. This was recorded July 5th, 1970. And real quick before the battery runs out on this camera, I got just a few 7 inches. I got Brother Andrew, the Swingin' Monk. Some more religious stuff on 45. Just a Fantasy Records release, and then some great covers here. The DeFranco family, Save the Last Dance for Me. Of course, this guy up in the corner, every one of these musical families had a goofy looking person that didn't look like he belonged in the family, and that guy is definitely it. But this is great. You can join the official DeFranco family fan club. This one, 1981, Billy Bremner, Loud Music in Cars. Not sure what that's all about either, but dug the cover art. And then lastly was the Pennsylvania Dutch, the Singing Troubadour with a Ford machine and Schnitzelbank. And just love the cover art on that one. When I picked this one up, everyone was wondering. They started yelling, "Where's the schnitzel? Where's the schnitzel? Who has the schnitzel?" And that would have been me. So there it is, Schnitzelbank. I thought it was Schnitzelbank, whatever. But there he is, Percy Eisen. Yeah, whatever his name is. So yeah, that's what I bought at the Highland Park Record Sale. Got this and John Cage's Silence book, one of the earlier printings, for a total of about $75, which isn't too bad. So looking forward to see what they do later, and hope you enjoyed this little nerdy trip through some records.